Morning, guys. I was going to do my vlog here at home this morning before I left for work, but I decided to go ahead and just head on into work and do it there. But as I was leaving, listening to the birds and seeing the fog over the golf course, I just wanted to share this with you. This is my view from my porch. So, my porch is up there. I don't know how well you can see, but this is the golf course that's behind my apartment. So this is my view from my balcony. And it's gorgeous this morning. The sun hasn't even risen yet. You can see, the light fog settled all across the golf course. And you can hear the birds chirping everywhere. This morning when I walked the dogs, there was a skunk very nearby, and the dogs must have scared it because it sprayed, and I have never smelled a skunk spray that close before, but it was horrid. I mean, I still have the smell in my nose. Very bad. Didn't see the skunk, so I don't know exactly where it was, but I knew it was close, very close. I don't know how well you can see back behind me here. There's some cool fog settled over that little creek over there and all the trees. So as you can see where I live kind of, it looks like out in the woods, but I actually live right in the middle of the city. I mean, right out of this parking lot is where the city is, so, but you would never be able to tell. So I absolutely love it out here. I love how these apartments are set up. It's just so peaceful and quiet, and there's all kinds of wildlife out here. It's crazy what animals you see out here. And I'll share the deer story with you. Something happened with a pack of deers on Christmas Eve morning, actually. It was really sad, but I'll share that with you sometime soon. But I just wanted to kind of show you around here as I was getting ready to leave, just because it's so beautiful out here. And that's exactly what I'm learning to do, is take the time to enjoy the little things around me, things that we take for granted so much. I mean, how often do we just take the time to look around us when we're walking to our car in the morning? We're always in such a hurry to get to where we're going. We don't ever stop and look at the birds or look at the sky, or just little things like that. So I just wanted to share that with you. I am on my way to work, and I'm going to do my daily vlog there. So I will see you all in a little bit. Bye. Hey guys. Alright, I'm at work now. And I don't have a whole lot of time this morning now. But I am going to talk about a few things in my second post. And today is Thursday, May the 17th. My son comes home today, and I'm very excited. There is his handsome face there behind me on the wall. For those of you who didn't catch my first post yesterday, I made my first post for my video journal, and told a little bit about myself. So if you didn't get a chance to see that one, please go back and watch it when you have some time. But today, like I said, he comes home, so I'm very excited. My mom's cooking dinner tonight, so we're going to go over there and spend the evening together. So that should be fun. So what I'm going to do is, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do my videos every morning since I get up, so early. That's really the only time that I'll have to myself. The only quiet time too. So I decided I'm going to do these every morning. And what I'll do is I'll tell you, just like you would a regular diary or journal, I'll tell you what's in store for the day, if anything, and then I'll cover the day before, actually, instead of, being that actual day like you were writing in your journal that night. It'll just be for the day before. And then we'll talk about, different subjects every day as well. So today, what I want to talk about is something I did a few weeks ago, and I want to get your input on it. I need some advice on what to do. Okay, so as you know, if you watched my first post, I am going through a divorce. I was married for 16 years, and we separated last June. That's when he moved out of the house. So there was a lot of reasons why we separated. He was very lazy. He hasn't held down a job in years, and so everything was on me. I was the sole supporter, and he did nothing. I mean, it wouldn't even help around the house. Then he started heavily drinking, which became a very huge problem because I couldn't stand to be around him anymore. And it turned me into a very, very angry and bitter person, because here I was busting my butt and working every day and then coming home to a drunk every night. And then on top of that, my girls having to be subjected to that as well. They hated it. They absolutely hated it. And so did I. So we started sleeping in separate rooms. I didn't even allow him in my bedroom, because I couldn't stand the sight of him. And it was heading toward, that separation point. I knew it was. But then one day I got a phone call at work from a girl that I hadn't talked to in several years. She used to be a friend of mine. Her and her boyfriend back years ago were friends of mine and my soon-to-be ex-husband, Jason. And she said that Jason would not leave her alone, that he was telling her that he was in love with her and all this other stuff. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? You know, because this would have been the last person I would have ever even thought that Jason would speak to, or anything. I mean, it was just so absurd to me. So, I went home and I confronted him about it, and he said, no, it's the other way around. She's bugging me. I don't know what she's talking about. She's been messaging me on Facebook and won't leave me alone. So I let it go. Well, then a week later, I don't know, it kept bothering me for some reason, and I think that what ended up happening is I reached out to her again and I said, you know, Jason wouldn't even touch you if you were the last person on earth or something like that. I was just being really mean because it really pissed me off, you know, after I had dwelled on it for a week and just thinking about the nerve of her calling me here at my work and telling me that. So when I really thought that she was bugging Jason, and then she comes back with, well, we slept together 2 years ago when he was working at the liquor store. And I was like, what? And so she knew, you know, that he used to have this job at a liquor store, and she wouldn't have known that, you know, if they hadn't have talked back then, at least. So that was my breaking point right there, is because at that point we would have been married for 14 years. You know, you can cheat on me after 14 years of marriage. He's probably cheated on me before in the years previous to that too. But that's when I just said, I can't do this. You know, on top of everything else, all the other issues, I'm not going to get past this. This is something I'll never forgive you for. So he ended up leaving. And before I got with Jason years ago, 20 years ago, I met a guy, and we dated for a while, quite a while, and I was very much in love with him. And he actually asked me to marry him. We were engaged. And I hate to admit this, but back then, this was 20 years ago, keep this in mind, I was into the bar scene and the club scene. You know, I did a lot of drinking and stupid things, partying, and he had got in trouble one night. He got drunk and mad and went to his friend's dad's restaurant. They own this little diner that was open, you know, all night, and they went over there in the middle of the night, and he got upset and took a baseball bat and busted out the front window, or the front door, like the glass door, because they were arguing and he was mad. And so when it came time for him to be sentenced for that and get his punishment, the judge decided that like a boot camp program would be the best thing for him to go through. So he got sent to a 3-month program far away, and that crushed me. I had a very hard time during that time when he was away, and so I did a lot of partying, you know, stayed drunk and stuff to keep my mind off of it. Well, one night, one of my friends had come over, and they had just got their prescription for Xanax. And I know, please don't judge me, because I straightened my life up. I don't do any of that anymore. I live right. You know, I'm a good mother. And I live for God. So that I don't do drugs. I work for a drug testing lab. So that this was 20 years ago too. But anyways, I took some Xanax that he had, and we went out to a club, and I was drinking, and one of Chris's friends showed up. My boyfriend, that was his name, Chris. One of his friends showed up out there, and I don't remember anything about that night, but apparently I cheated on Chris with his friend. So, and still to this day, I don't remember hardly anything about that night. My memory is just wiped. Had I been just drunk, none of that, nothing would have happened. Because I would have been there still, and I would have been able to tell him, no, get lost. But when Chris came back home from his boot camp thing, of course, he found out about it. And that was it. He ended the relationship. So, when that happened, I was really crushed. It took me a very, very long time to get over him. I ended up running off to Florida for a couple of months with one of Chris's good friends. And he was my best friend. So, me and Poria was his name, we ran off to Florida, and that was just my way of trying to cope, with the end of that relationship. And then when I came back from Florida was when I met Jason, who is now my soon-to-be ex-husband. So, anyways, to my point. After being alone for quite a while, I've been alone for almost a year now, and single. I started thinking about Chris. Chris has never been far from my mind for the last 20 years. I've thought about him on and off on occasion, and still have very deep feelings for him. So I looked him up on Facebook, and sure enough, found him. So I sent him a friend's request, and I sent him a message. He didn't respond at first. And then I sent him another message, and I was like, well, I ran into your brother years ago, and he told me that you were married. Is that true? Are you still married? And so 2 days go by, and he replies with, yes, I'm married. And that was it. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. I was like, well, as long as you're happy, that's great. That's all that matters. And peppermint. Then I decided to Facebook stalk him, Since he accepted my friend's request, I just went through his whole Facebook and discovered that like a year and a half to 2 years ago, his brother died. His brother passed away. The same brother that I was telling him that I had ran into several years ago, who had told me that he was married. And so I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. Just blown away. And so I sent him another message, and I told him, I said, I just went through your Facebook and saw that your brother died, and I am so sorry, because I know that had to have killed you. And he replied immediately, and he was like, oh. He said, yep, you got me. He said, he said he did, he died, and that was a really hard time in my life. And so we just started talking. That's what opened up the conversation for him to start speaking to me. We ended up covering the whole reason why our relationship ended. We got into that conversation, and this was after like a week and a half to 2 weeks of just randomly talking to each other. During that 2 weeks, he told me that he wanted me to come out and see him play a gig, because he plays guitar and sings. I'm very good at it too. And I said I would love to. And he also said that he wanted me to help him get custody of his son, because he split up with his son's mother, and he's trying to get his son back. And, I deal with child custody cases every day, so I told him I'd be happy to help you. Well, then, that's the Saturday. One Saturday, we just started discussing our relationship. And he was talking about, one special night that we shared, and he said that because of that certain thing that we shared that night, that had always been a bond between us. And, that was really special to me. That made me feel really good to hear that, because everything that I shared with him was very special to me. And so I was glad to hear that he had felt the same way at one point in time. And then he said, yeah, and then you went and cheated on me with my friend. And then that just ruined everything. And he said, he's still scared of me to this day. I told him I was going to kill him. And I was like, I tried to explain it to him and tell him that I wasn't there. Like, I was off in space, literally, and that would have never happened had I not been completely out of it and drugged. Because I loved him and cared so much about him. And he said, well, what's done is done. It's over with, just leave it be. And I said, no, I can't do that, because to me, you were supposed to be my wife. I was supposed to marry you. I was supposed to have your kids. And so I just felt like he was the one that got away, that never should have, it never should have been that way. And started feeling like we should be together. I mean, like it's destiny for us to be together. But as we're talking, like we spent all afternoon and evening talking, okay? He goes and he posts on Facebook a picture of him and this girl. And this girl looked a lot older than me, okay? She looked pretty old. I'm not going to say mean things about her or anything, but she looked older. And in the post, he put, finally found the love of my life. I'm so happy, or something like that. And so I saw it because, I'm like scrolling through Facebook as we're chatting on Messenger. And it just hit me like, I'm like, what is this? What is he doing? I felt like he just grabbed, like, somebody, like a friend of his mom's or something that was over, and said, here, take a picture with me, and was posting it just to get a rise out of me because of everything that we had been talking about, you know, how I cheated on him, and that was why our relationship ended and all that. So I thought, oh, he's doing that just to get at me, just to upset me. And so I put, really, Chris? The love of your life? I highly doubt that. And he said, yeah, it's true. She's the love of my life, and I'm happy. And I told him, I said, okay, whatever, Chris. I mean, that's literally what I said. That's all I said. Okay, whatever. And he said, you know what? He said, why don't you just lose my number? He said, I can't have you messing things up for me right now. I'm happy, and I just can't let you mess that up for me right now. And I said, how would I mess that up for you? I couldn't mess that up for you unless you allowed me to mess that up for you. So what do you mean? And he said, I just want you to know that I don't have any feelings for you, never have, and never will. So, just leave me alone. I can't be any clearer than that. I'm happy, and take good care. And that's all he put. And then he blocked me, so I couldn't reply to his message. Can't see his Facebook anymore. Nothing. So, my question is this. Should I try and reach out to him some other way and tell him that I just want to be friends so that I can have him in my life? Do you think it's possible for me to just be friends with him? Even though probably secretly down, not even secretly, but deep down inside I want more from him. Although I really don't need to jump into another relationship right now. You know, that's not something I need in my life right now. I do need friends, and it would be nice to have him as a friend and back in my life. And I would like to help him, genuinely like to help him with his son. So, that's my question for y'all today. What do you think? Tell me your honest opinion, and tell me, do you think he really meant what he said? That he doesn't want me in his life, or do you think he's just being guarded because he doesn't want to revisit those old feelings because he is happy with the person he's with right now and doesn't want to hurt her? Let me know. Gotta go. It's 8 o'clock. Gotta open the door. But I really want to hear from you guys, okay? So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
It's too hard to sleep. I got the sheets on the floor.